There are plenty of other tough exchanges during that testimony on Capitol Hill. Mr. Rosenstein, here's a selection.
Do you have any opinion on the lack of the fruit from the poisonous tree that might have been erased by Peter Strzok?
Well, as a legal matter, Congressman, I can tell you that if evidence is tainted, then that would raise a concern for me. But typically, our cases would be prosecuted based upon witnesses and documents, and not upon the agent, unless the agent personally were a witness in the case. But that would certainly concern us if there were any tainted evidence in the case.
Jonathan Turley, a professor at George Washington University Law School, and he joins us tonight. Professor, what was your take on those exchanges today?
Well, we didn't learn a whole lot, did we?
No, we didn't.
You know, the problem is that many of these questions really don't go to witnesses. They don't go to sensitive investigatory issues. They go to the role of prosecutors. So I don't understand why some of those questions couldn't be answered. I think what we have is we have allegations on both sides of the political aisle, both involving foreign influence, both involving questions of political corruption or influence on the Department of Justice. And it seems that we're in agreement. All those are bad things. So the question is, how do we respond? And I think that it would be nice if both parties would say, all right, fine. There are so many questions here. Let's have an independent and full investigation on both sides. Let's investigate it all. Let's be transparent. Let it be independent. I think Congress can investigate the DOJ allegations. But we do need a commitment on both sides to say, at the end of the day, the American people have a right to hear it all. And we didn't get that today.
And we have an obligation, I think, to preserve some public trust that our system isn't corrupt. And that, I think, is the point of the independent counsel, right? To take it out of the Department of Justice a little bit anyway, so there's no political interference. Given that, why in the world would the FBI apparently and the investigation hide these texts from Strzok, hide the news from the Congress for months that he was demoted? What would be the point of that?
Well, I find that perhaps the most troubling aspect of this. There's no reason for this information to have been withheld. And I think it's an example of how agencies thumb their noses at Congress, because Congress doesn't enforce its contempt authority. Those people should have been held in contempt. Congress has a right to this information. It's our government. And these are very serious allegations. You know, when you talk about someone involved in this core investigation, we're spending millions. But more importantly, we all have a lot at stake here. And if there are people there who are partisan, who are biased, we have a right to know about it.
Well, in this case, Mueller, it looks like, did the right thing. So
yeah.
It turns out he has this guy, very high-level FBI official, Strzok, who stepped outside the lines pretty dramatically, and he demoted him and sent him down to the HR department. Why would he be uncomfortable telling Congress of that? It does shake your faith. It suggests there's something else going on.
I think that's exactly right. I think that they fueled a lot of this narrative, a lot of these concerns. The only way to sanitize this is with exposure to sunlight. And they are resisting the disclosures that they need to have been made. Some of these texts are deeply disturbing. Some of it's just stupid. You know, having major justice officials go to the campaign party of one of the two major candidates is just stupid.
Well, it's especially weird. I mean, the congressman who just talked to, I thought, made a fair point, which is a lot of these people have political opinions, and that's right. Okay. It doesn't mean they can't do their jobs right. But if you're an independent counsel and you're under intense public scrutiny and you hire 9 out of 15 investigators who are donors to the other candidate in the last election, one of whom worked for... You're a law professor here in Washington. Is it impossible to find competent investigators who didn't just donate to the other team's political campaign?
Look, you can walk out in any corner in D.C., throw a stick, and hit 20 competent lawyers. You could hit 100 more that are not competent, but you can hit a lot of competent ones. There's no need to come up with a list that can be challenged. Mueller began this with the criticism of some of us. I thought Mueller's appointment was a mistake. I think he's going to do a fair job. I think he's going to, at the end, he's the special counsel who's going to say that. But his connection to Comey, and more importantly, his interviewing for Comey's job, it really baffled me that he'd be even be on the list. You would think that after that start, he would sanitize this team, which he obviously didn't.
You'd think so, because public faith is at stake here.
I think it is.